Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? It is the next day after the other two clips. Um, this took me 3 days. um, well, I just don't know if it was worth the 3 days. So, overall, this update, pretty mid. The final expedition is actually a fun gameplay loop, but here, let me show you this real quick. Okay, look at this. So they have a 1% chest, right? With a 1% drop chance with a glitched pity potion. 1% in that 1% chest. I just don't understand. And it's the same rate between easy and hard. And this one doesn't even have anything special besides an item that I already have. So it's like, what's the point? It's fun. It's literally a roguelike. Which is fun, but it's like I don't know. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Mid update kind of sucks, but anyway, let me showcase these units that I didn't showcase in the previous streams. Okay, so Shinobu's first. Her ability is actually pretty cool. So let me summarize this real quick. So all of the enemies that are in her circle essentially get debuffed like crazy. So say you're going up against a boss, right? Who has HP regen. She reduces the HP regen by 100%, which is crazy. And then it permanently reduces enemies' HP or more regen, and increases raw damage taken, and it stuns the enemies for like 20 seconds. So very cool. Um, so her Wisteria Cloud passive, essentially, she has a 5% chance to trigger a powerful full AoE strike, which deals 4 times damage and applies slow. Pretty cool. And then Wisteria Poison, which she gets at upgrade 4. The poison deals 3 times damage over 6 ticks, which is kind of crazy, and reduces the enemy HP regen. So she can counter the difficulty 3 of the Akaza boss from the breaches. So definitely good. And then last shot. If poisonous butterfly, so if Shinobu applies poison to the same enemy 5 times, she inflicts daze. And then she pretty much non-stop stacks for minus 30% SPA. Or, sorry, non-stacking, I should say. My bad. So next poison instance does 3.5 times damage over 6 ticks. And then it buffs poisonous butterfly. Butterfly's she basically buffs herself, cap of 50%. So that's her. She's a pretty good support actually. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Jesus. All right, Akaza. Um, he's basically a DPS essentially. So his ability just lowers his SPA to 1 second and lowers his damage. Which is kinda insane. And then if enemy apply rupture based on Akaza's damage times 2. So his first passive is Compass Needle. Um, so Akaza's SPA decreases depending on the fastest enemy in range. Walk speed. So he makes the enemies faster, and then if they get out of his range, he buffs himself. Um, and then well, no, if they walk out of his range, he stuns them. So that's in one of his passives. Actually, I think it's this one. Yeah, when an affected enemy leaves Compass Demon's range, they are stunned for 10 seconds. And then he gains 5% range for 10 seconds, cap of 50%. So that is cool. And a Fighting Spirit, when a boss enters range, instantly deal 5% damage. Or, sorry, excuse me. Instantly deal 5% of the boss's max HP, max of 400 billion, once per boss. And then Compass Demon's crits apply Mutilate, scaled on his damage stats. So pretty good. Actually, he's pretty mid, to be honest. I don't like him that much. So, anyway, let's move on to. Okay, Rengoku's quote unquote easy A. Don't mind the skin. Okay, so he has two abilities. So let's start with the first one. Whoops. So, first one, upon activation, for the next 60 seconds, set crit chance to 50%, cannot be buffed or nerfed. Set crit damage to 0%. Weird. And then after 60 seconds, deal crits accumulated times current damage times 3. Apply black flames off this damage. And it's a 100 second cooldown, so interesting. Demon Burst Roaring Tiger. For the next 150 seconds, minus 35% damage and minus 50% SPA. Flame Pillar. So, his burn now deals 3.6 times damage. Every hit applies 2 random burn DOTs. Disable Vicious Presence and Demon Art Castration. Increase the size of Flame Breather's Demonic's model. Okay. So he increases in size, I assume. So upon entering the range, apply pressure and sunburn. Excuse me. Upon entering the range, apply pressure and sunburn, scaling off current damage once. Enemies take 5% crit damage, and their walk speed is increased by 5% while in range. Okay. Demon Art Castration. I think that's what it said. I don't know. Whatever. If a blood type DOT is on the enemy, Flame Breather Demonic follows up every take with 10% of current damage. Okay. Burn inflicted by Flame Breather deals 7.2 times damage for every burn type DOT on the enemy. Deals plus 10% DOT damage, cap of 30%. I think is okay. Depends on what bleed you bring. I just like maybe Akaza and Rengoku could work together, but I don't know. Other than that, I don't really think he's that great compared to Tengen even. So yeah. So give me a second. Okay, last but not least, the GOAT. Zenitsu. So first form, which he gets at upgrade 3. Choose a form technique to apply at 5 times effectiveness. So I've seen videos on this, and it sometimes doesn't work. So hopefully this works. And also, most of these units don't have any animations. Like Kokushibo, his first animation doesn't have an animation. And Akaza, no, Akaza has one. Shinobu doesn't. So, anyway, 7th form, he gets upgrade 8. Or, yep, that's like upgrade 8. Okay. Obtained after being stunned, for a total of 200 seconds upon activation. Permanently gain plus 30%, plus 300% elemental damage versus nature enemies. Okay. Deal 125 times damage, applying Bolt, Plasma, Blaze, and Mutilate within his range. Interesting. For every enemy in range, plus 0.5 SPA, cav 25%, and same with damage. While there are 25 enemies in range, Sleeping Thunder passes out, removing debuffs and stunning himself. That's not good. So, still functions when stunned, gaining buffs while stunned, minus 50% SPA. Form technique cooldown reduced by 10 seconds, and each now applies Bolt. Every 30 seconds, inflict a technique in order. Flashbang, deal 3 times damage to the strongest enemy in range, and apply Mutilate plus Electrified. 6 Strike, deals 2 times damage in AoE, and apply Bleed and Electrified. And then Godspeed, deal 1 times damage in range, and apply Burn and Electrified. So I think the Flashbang one is definitely better. Awakened Thunder. Obtained after being stunned for a total of 100 seconds. The effective unconscious genius are permanently active. Lose Cowardly Swordsman, and both deals 2.2 times damage, SPA minus 20% and damage, plus 10% range, plus 20%. So, all right, that was quite a lot. Let's go to infinite mode and yeah, let's showcase them. Okay, so I have obviously Flame Breather up and running. And it's kind of confusing me because he's not even attacking them. Like, they're just stopping at his range, which is kind of nuts. Let's... Oops. There's no godly buffs either, by the way, so let's get rid of you and put you in range. There we go. Oops. I guess my Ichor vial was filled. So let's look here. What's actually... Oh, upon entering... Okay, yeah, it's the effects that are applied that's killing him. Makes sense. The goat. Yeah, I have attack effects on. So there's that. I won't apply any buffs until after I showcase these 4. So, anywho, let's get started. So, off rip 490k is not good. But yeah, it's not the greatest. Also, they have no souls on them, as you can see. And Zenitsu, I didn't really care to get kills on yet, so I didn't. So yeah, so let's go to his next upgrades. They're just gonna end up dead. So yeah, he has a crit skill tree and all that stuff. Boom. A huge circle AoE. Or not circle. I guess, yeah, it's a circle AoE. My bad. And then he gets his first move. Yeah, set crit chance to 50 and then crit damage to 0. Boom, that's the max. No buffs, no godly buffs, none of that. His burn does 471 million. Ugh. Ugh. Not good. Not good at all. So, let's do this then. Demonic Burst. So that lowers his SPA minus 50%, and then minus 25% to his damage. So, honestly, this is kind of bad. Like, really bad. Let's do his Demon Art. Yeah, sets his crit chances to 50% and damage to 0. And that's for every 100 seconds, so. I will say, though, that this animation is pretty cool. But yeah, so, as Rengoku, he's mid. Very mid. I wish he wasn't, but he is. So now, Zenitsu, buddy old pal. So, as you can see, he gets the form technique, which I think... Yeah, every 30 seconds inflict a technique in order. So, that's his thing. And, so his SPA increases for all the enemies in range, I believe. Yeah, every enemy in range, he increases SPA and damage. Which I find weird, because he's literally thunder breathing. Like, shouldn't he be faster than that? Anyway. So let's get him to his ability, which is First Form. Which upon activation, choose a form technique and apply 5 times effectiveness. If it loads, bruh. There we go. So it does work. Cool. So increases forms damage by 5 times, 5 times. So it's essentially, if I believe this, it changes his typing. So if I do this, no, it doesn't. It does not. Okay. Does he become hybrid like at all? He does. Good. Good, good. Um, he's at 14 seconds. Kokushiba was at like 20. 20 something. Like, dear God. So let's go more, and then he gains what? 7th form? I'm confused right now. So I have no clue what 7th form does. Yeah, there's literally. I think it's just his like. I think it was a miscoloration, like, because I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So, all right, Zenitsu mid, extremely mid. I wish he wasn't, but it sucks. So let's move to Shinobu. Sorry Zenitsu, you are terrible. And keep the damage in mind, or take it with a grain of salt. That's what I was looking for. Um, he didn't have the crit damage tree, so now we got Akaza. So as you can see, his crit and his crit damage are both up. If I don't know how else to explain it, but they are increased. So let's get him to his next move. His attack effects actually work. So let's see those. Boom, pretty cool. And then I want to show his next attack. Boom. I think his attack effects are actually pretty good, to be honest. And a little compass that, you know, his second ability doesn't even have an animation. Are we serious? These units are just unfinished. They're just unfinished. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I want the ALS back, that's for sure. Anyway, so yeah, that's his next attack. Very bright, and it gets worse once he gets to 1 second SPA. So, boom, 1 billion damage every 2 to 3 seconds. Let's show off the ability. Yeah, this is every 1 second, by the way. Every 1 second. As you can see, he has 1 second SPA. Okay, and his damage did go down quite a bit. Just because, obviously, of that stuff. So, yeah. Next up, oh, and he does apply cripple. So, okay, that's Akaza. Now, let me place down Shinobu. There we go. Her model is nice, but she has no attack effects, as you can clearly tell. Yeah, and she unlocks a new passive here, which I think I did go over. And then, yeah, still no new attack effects. um, I don't think she. Jesus Christ, I do not think that she has. She doesn't have a single attack effect at all. So, and her damage is so bad. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, that's them. Let me place all of them down and buff them real quick. I should have enough to buff them. Also, let me just take these off. I don't need that. Okay, so let's auto upgrade these. Come on, thank you. Okay. So boom, boom, boom. So Zenitsu is roughly 800 million. Okay. 1.4 billion for our goat Akaza. And then 500 million, still very bad. Every 8 seconds is kind of meh. And then Shinobu is, yeah, these units are just mediocre. I don't know what to say. So yeah, that is them. Um, they were okay. That's all I can say. They're okay. Not the greatest. A nightmare to grind. Because it took me 3 freaking days. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy, and see you next time. Peace. Okay, so my original plan was to literally edit um my live streams for everything that I did during the update of this Demon Slayer update. My phone cannot handle like 8 hours of video to edit. So this is my other option. I'm gonna go through these passives. I won't show the damage because this is his damage. With buffs, it's like 2 something billion. Not terrible, but his SPA is garbage. um, so let me go through these. His ability, just to summarize it, he stops attacking. What else? He essentially nerfs himself. Is pretty much how I think of it. You'll see why in a second here. So for every unit placed within his range, he has a little like purple range. If you put a unit in that range, it will subtract their damage, but buff Kokushibo's damage, which is good, but bad at the same time. It makes no sense. So, then we got this one applied dismantle, and rupture. Uh, so I don't know. There's just no point in looking at them. These units are mid. The only actual unit that was actually worth it was Tengen. Okay, so Tengen is probably my favorite support unit. Truly. um, Essentially, he's immune to stun with this ability, and this ability is not hard to get because it's based on units that enter his range for a certain amount of time. And it's permanent buff. So, um, yeah, so he stuns, and it makes units or enemies exposed. Um, and then every 10 attacks, he does one of these. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like he's really good. He's really good compared to the other units. He's probably one of the better ones of this update. So yeah, uh, sorry that it took 3 days for literally nothing. So, but yeah, thank you guys for watching and the support, and yeah, see you next time. Peace.